My girlfriend wants me to treat her like I'm her dad, and it makes me deeply uncomfortable. This is the first time I'm posting here. Honestly, I'm not sure if what I'm feeling is just paranoia or if there's really something weird going on in my relationship with my girlfriend. I think I need an outside perspective to clear my head. What I'm about to tell you might sound strange or even disturbing to some people, but I need to get it out of my system. My name is Pablo, I'm 28. I've been dating Lucia, who's 24, for a year and a half. At the beginning everything was completely normal. Dinners out, movies, long late-night WhatsApp chats, great sex, a few dumb arguments, the usual stuff. I loved her sweetness, her calm way of speaking, her quiet laugh, and her outlook on life. She never seemed demanding or controlling. Or at least that's what I thought. There was one thing that at the time struck me as curious but that now feels totally different in hindsight. It was the first, and only, time I met her father in person. Lucia and I had been together 3 months when she invited me to dinner with her parents at their house. It was the classic meet the parents night. I was a little nervous but figured it would be like any other. But when I met her dad, something made me uncomfortable. I can't quite explain what it was. He was tall, built a lot like me with a firm but kind gaze. The second he opened the door and saw me, he froze for a moment, staring in silence with a strange expression, like confusion or recognition. Lucia laughed and said, "Don't they look alike? I told you Pablo looks just like you when you were young." He gave an awkward laugh, shook my hand, but kept scanning me up and down as if he were really looking at a 20-year-old version of himself in the mirror. During dinner her mom mentioned it a couple of times too. "It's incredible, Pablo. Even the way you laugh is the same. And you speak slowly just like he did in college." I smiled awkwardly. I don't like being compared to other people, especially my girlfriend's dad. But I tried to take it lightly. What I couldn't ignore was how unsettled he seemed. Several times he looked at me with one eyebrow raised, like he couldn't process the resemblance. At one point when Lucia went to the kitchen, he leaned in discreetly and said quietly, "You're too much like me." It's weird. Really weird. She always went for guys who were nothing like her father. I don't know why she picked someone like you this time. I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. He just sighed, took a sip of wine, and never brought it up again. At the time I thought it was a funny coincidence. Now, after all her strange requests, her words, her insistence that I act like her dad, I realized that moment was a huge red flag I completely ignored. Maybe that's when it all started. I remember the first time she asked me for something weird. We were at her place watching a series when she suddenly looked at me and said, "Pablo, can you tell me I've been a good girl?" I laughed, thinking it was a joke or some kinky roleplay thing. "What?" I asked, smiling. "Just that. Tell me I've been a good girl. That daddy's proud of me." My smile froze. "Excuse me?" She blushed, looked down, but insisted in a soft voice, "Say it. Please. Just once." I felt uncomfortable. I didn't know if it was a strange joke or a fetish she'd never mentioned. But not wanting to ruin the moment and thinking it was a one-off, I said it half-jokingly, "Yeah, you've been a good girl. Daddy's proud of you." She smiled like I'd just given her the best gift in the world, hugged me tight, kissed me, and that was that. But it wasn't. A few days later, while I was cooking at my place, she came into the kitchen and asked, "Poppy, can you pour me some juice? I want juice like when I was little." There it was again, Poppy. Not the flirty way some couples use it. No. Her tone was literal, like she was actually talking to her real father. I laughed nervously. "Don't you want to call me something normal?" I asked. "I'm not your dad, Lucia." She just smiled and said, "But I like you being like him. It makes me feel protected. Safe." I didn't push it. I poured the juice. But the discomfort lingered. Then came more things. One day she asked me to go clothes shopping with her. Nothing strange there, until she held up a dress in the store and said, "Will you buy it for me, Poppy? Please. If you don't, I'll be naughty." I froze. She was smiling like a little kid pretending to throw a tantrum. "Lucia, stop calling me that," I told her seriously for the first time. "I don't like it. It's not a game I enjoy." She pouted like I'd ruined something beautiful. "Why does it bother you? It's just affection. Besides, my dad always bought me pretty things when I was little. It feels nice to remember." That was weird. Really weird. But again, to avoid a fight or a public scene, I let it go. And it kept happening. Whenever she could, she'd ask me to talk to her the way a dad talks to his little girl. Praise her for being a good girl, reward her for behaving, scold her for being naughty. It even started creeping into the bedroom, which genuinely creeped me out. One night, right after sex, she hugged me from behind and whispered, "I love it when you're firm with me like my dad was." I gently pulled away. "Lucia, don't say that. I don't like it." She shrugged. "I'm just saying I feel protected. It's not a big deal." But to me it was a big deal. Huge. I started noticing more patterns. She talked about her childhood obsessively, how her dad taught her to ride a bike, gave her ice cream after school, called her my little princess. Details anyone might mention casually, but with her they were constant, repetitive, like she was reliving those moments all the time. And worst of all, she kept telling me how much I resembled him. Same gestures, same way of looking at things, even my smell was similar, she said one day while hugging me tightly. That gave me chills. It wasn't jealousy of her father, it was that for her, I didn't feel like her partner. I felt like a father figure filling a void no one else could. And it was starting to exhaust me, unsettle me, even make me feel dirty. Is it normal for a 24-year-old woman to want her boyfriend to literally act like her dad? Was this unresolved trauma? An overly intense father-daughter bond from childhood? I never wanted to judge her or make her feel bad, but my discomfort kept growing, and I didn't know how to bring it up without hurting her or ending the relationship. Everything came to a head 2 weeks ago. We were having dinner at her place. Her mom was visiting. A nice, chatty lady who loves telling old stories. In the middle of the conversation, her mom said, "Lucia was always Daddy's little girl. Glued to him all day. She adored him. After he passed away, the house felt so empty without him. No one could ever replace him." Lucia looked down and said nothing, just played with her fork. When her mom went to the bathroom, I whispered, "Is that why you want me to act like him? Is that why you want me to talk to you like I'm your dad?" She was quiet for a few seconds, then whispered, "Maybe. Makes me feel safe. And you make me feel the same." I sighed. "But I'm not your dad. I'm your partner. Your boyfriend. I can't, and don't want to, fill that role." She didn't answer, and we slept apart that night. We haven't really talked about it properly since. I keep going over it in my head. Am I overreacting? Is it just a weird but harmless fantasy? Or is something broken here that I shouldn't keep feeding? I don't know what to do. That's why I came here to write this. Maybe someone else has been through something similar. Update: a few days have passed since my first post. I read all your comments. Most of you told me I needed to have a very serious talk with Lucia and set clear boundaries. Others suggested she probably needs professional help. A few of you, rightly, said I should consider ending the relationship. I decided to try talking first. I wanted to give her a real chance. I thought maybe she genuinely didn't realize how weird this was, that no one had ever pointed it out so directly. So I talked to her. Not a passing comment or hint like before. This time it was a long, serious conversation, no awkward laughs, no pretending everything was fine. I went to her place. She was happy to see me because, honestly, after the incidents I described, I'd been avoiding her a bit. She looked nervous. "Lucia," I said straight out, "we need to talk." Seriously. This isn't a game or casual chat. It's something that's really affecting me. She looked worried, made me sit on the couch, and stood in front of me hugging a pillow like a kid about to be scolded. Ironic. What you've been asking me, pretending to be your dad, your father figure. I can't do it. It's not healthy. It's not okay. It makes me uncomfortable, it bothers me, it even scares me where this is heading. I don't want it to happen anymore. Not as a joke, not in bed, not ever. I'm your partner, not your dad. She went silent for a few seconds, then broke down. Tears filled her eyes, she dropped to her knees in front of me, hugging my legs. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I didn't know it made you feel like that. I thought it was harmless. I thought you found it cute, that you liked it. I didn't want to scare you. I don't want to lose you, Pablo. Please don't leave me. I gently lifted her up and hugged her. It hurt seeing her so vulnerable, so desperate. I don't want to leave you, I said, but this has to stop. If you really love me, you have to stop. It's not healthy for either of us. She nodded over and over, promised she'd stop, that she'd never treat me like a father figure again, that she'd see me as her partner, her equal, that she'd change. I left that night feeling calm. I thought maybe she finally got it, that she just needed someone to say it loud and clear. How naive I was. The next day everything collapsed, worse than ever. We were at the supermarket doing our weekly shopping. Everything was fine, we were chatting about light stuff, I even felt relieved like the dark cloud had lifted. Then we got to the cereal aisle. She stopped in front of her favorite brand and, in that childish voice, yes, that damn childish voice again, said, Poppy, can you buy me this one? I've been really good. I froze. Literally. A chill ran down my spine. Lucia, I whispered, trying not to make a scene, don't start. I told you no more of this. She frowned, crossed her arms, and raised her voice. But I want it. Poppy always lets me get it. Why not now? People started looking. I felt every stare. Some smirking, some uncomfortable. An older lady even scowled. Lucia, please, I whispered firmly, behave. I'm not your father. And then came the full meltdown. She threw herself on the floor in the middle of the aisle, fake crying like a 5-year-old, banging her hands on the ground. You're a mean daddy. A bad daddy. You always buy me what I want. Don't be mean. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Several people stopped to watch the show. A little kid asked his mom why the lady was crying like a baby, and the mom hurried him away. I tried to pick her up, but she jerked my hand away. Don't touch me if you won't buy me the cereal. I hate you, Poppy. It was a surreal nightmare. Somehow I stayed calm, turned around and said, I'm leaving, Lucia. I'll talk to you when you're done with your tantrum. And I left her there on the cereal aisle floor, flailing like a toddler. I haven't spoken to her since. Not a text, not a call, nothing. She sent messages saying sorry, I don't know what came over me, I swear I didn't mean to, it was an impulse, please don't leave me. But I haven't answered. I don't want to. I can't. I'm broken and confused. On one hand I feel sorry for her. This clearly isn't normal. It's an emotional wound, an emptiness, unresolved childhood trauma spilling into adulthood. On the other hand I'm angry, betrayed. She promised me literally the day before that she'd stop, that she understood, that she wanted to change. And yet there she was, worse than ever, humiliating me in front of strangers, making me look like a lunatic or an abuser to anyone who didn't know the context. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to cut everything off, end it, run before it gets even sicker. But another part wonders, what if she really needs help? What if this is the result of something deep and serious? What if abandoning her just breaks her more? I'm not a psychologist. I don't know how to handle this. That's why I'm writing again, Reddit. What do I do? Do I leave and save myself from a bigger emotional disaster? Or do I try to convince her to get real professional help? Therapy, treatment, whatever will get her out of this childish regression. Is something like this even fixable? Help, please. I don't want this to end like one of those nightmare stories I read here. Thanks for reading again. Final update. Thank you to everyone who commented on my previous post. I read every piece of advice, every warning, every word of support. Many of you said this would never get better, that it was a sick situation, that I needed to get out immediately. Others urged urgent therapy for her and even for me if I kept tolerating it. Today I'm here to tell you what was literally the end of this story, something I never thought I'd witness, something that genuinely scared me. After the supermarket incident, I stopped contacting her completely. No replies to calls or messages. She kept insisting for days, begging to talk in person. I refused. Until one day after work I found her waiting outside my apartment building. She looked off. She was wearing a white dress that was way too childish for her age. I swear it looked like a little girl's dress. Hair in 2 high pigtails, white knee-high socks, pink sneakers, and clutching a teddy bear. I froze. "Hi, Poppy," she said in an almost inaudible voice, smiling creepily, looking up at me like a small child, rocking side to side, hugging the bear to her chest. "What the hell are you doing, Lucia?" I asked, a mix of anger and fear. She took a couple of steps toward me, walking like she was playing at being a kid. "I'm sorry I was naughty, sorry for throwing a tantrum. Don't leave me, Poppy, I can be a good girl again. Just give me one more chance," she said in a trembling voice. Neighbors were walking by, staring. I was dying of shame and discomfort. "Stop it, Lucia. This is sick," I told her, serious and firm. "Take off that ridiculous outfit and leave. Now." But she didn't. She dropped the teddy bear, knelt on the sidewalk, and started crying for real, screaming, "I don't want you to leave me, Poppy. I don't. I'll be your good girl forever. Punish me if you want, but don't leave me." People were staring. An older man muttered, "What the hell is wrong with this girl?" while another woman pulled out her phone and started filming. I couldn't take it anymore. "It's over, Lucia," I said. "For good. Don't ever contact me again. This is sick. I never want to see you again." I walked into the building without looking back, hearing her muffled sobs on the sidewalk. Minutes later I looked through the peephole. She was still there, hugging her bear, muttering things I couldn't understand. I called her mom and told her to come get her, that something was seriously wrong with Lucia. That was the last time I saw her. That night I blocked her number, her social media, everything. Her mom and uncle came to pick her up. I didn't hear anything else. Days later a mutual friend told me they finally took her to urgent therapy. A few days after the street incident I got an unexpected call from her mother. At first I didn't want to answer, but something told me I should at least hear her out. So I picked up. "Hi, Pablo." I stayed silent and leaned against the hallway wall. "I wanted to apologize," she continued, "for everything my daughter put you through. I'm so sorry." She told me everything, Pablo, even what happened that night outside your building. She paused. I could tell she'd been crying. We had no idea she was this bad. We thought it was just stress, normal anxiety, young adult stuff. But after that night, when we brought her home, she broke down. She confessed through tears that for months she'd been pretending to be the little girl her dad adored. That when she started dating you and noticed how much you looked and acted like her father, something clicked in her head and she couldn't let it go. She said it made her feel safe, protected, like when she was little and her dad was still alive. I stayed silent. We took her to a psychiatrist immediately, actually two. They both said the same thing. It's a strange, unhealthy way of processing grief. Lucia never fully got over her father's death, and you, with your physical resemblance and personality, became an anchor to that memory. Her mind twisted it. They called it some kind of unresolved affective fixation disorder. I don't remember the exact terms. I could picture her wiping tears as she spoke. And before you think anything bad about her or her dad, she added quickly, I want to make it clear at her request, there was never anything inappropriate between them. Nothing dark. Her father adored her like any normal dad. What she did was her distorted way of reliving that happy time, clinging to him through you, not because anything bad happened in her childhood, just because she never properly said goodbye when he died. She sighed on the other end. I just wanted you to know the truth so there'd be no doubts left in your mind. What you went through was horrible, humiliating, sick, and you have no obligation to forgive her. But she's in treatment now. With luck she'll get better. And if someday, only if you ever want, she said she's willing to apologize to you directly. I didn't know what to say. I didn't feel hate, pity, or resentment. Just a strange emptiness like finishing a confusing movie you never want to watch again. Thank you for telling me, Marta, was all I could manage. But I don't want to see her again. Not out of spite, for my mental health. And hers. She just said, okay, and we hung up. I haven't heard anything about Lucia since. I only know she's still in therapy. She deleted her social media, and even her friends distanced themselves for a while. I learned a hard lesson. Not all love can heal a broken person. Sometimes the damage comes from long before, and you're just the mirror it reflects in. In this story, that mirror was me.